For the last 50 years, the Museum of Contemporary Photography at Columbia College Chicago has been exhibiting some of the most thought-provoking images in the medium. They've acquired over 18,000 objects by more than 2,000 artists. Now, you can get an inside look into how the museum built its fantastic collection with the exhibition MOCP at 50, Collecting Through the Decades. On view January 22nd through mid-May, celebrate MOCP's 50th anniversary at the museum in the South Loop. Visit mocp.org for more information. Chicago knows how to kick off a new year right, and that's with good food and plenty of options. You already know what I'm talking about. Chicago Restaurant Week is back in full effect from January 23rd through February 28th. The 19th annual event produced by Choose Chicago features prefix menus. I'm talking $30 for lunch, $45 or $60 for dinner at, get this y'all, more than 500 restaurants across the city. You can go to the website to see the full list or filter by cuisine type. You can use the map feature, but here's a little tip for you. Go on and make your reservations now because they go quick. Explore participating restaurants and menus at chicagorestaurantweek.com and book those tables now. Today on CityCast Chicago, just because we in the midst of January doesn't mean you have to stay inside, and we coming off the holiday season, so I know our pockets are tapped, so we're revisiting our conversation from last fall when we found out the things you can eat, drink, and do in the city for around $10. It's Wednesday, January 14th. I'm Jacoby Cochran, and this is what Chicago's talking about. I've got executive producer Simone Alicea in the building.
Hey, Jacoby.
Producer Michelle Navarro is here with us.
Hey, Jacoby.
All right, let's jump into it. This episode is easy to conceptualize, right? $10 or less, enjoy the city. But then when you actually start looking for things that are $10 or less, and I don't want to just like make that category free. We was trying to get like between $1 and $10 where you'd actually have to pay some money. It's not as difficult as maybe I'm making it sound like, but it is a bit of a challenge.
It's not searchable. Yeah. It's not like super searchable. You're not going to, there's not a ton of lists. So we've kind of broken it down here into a few categories. And I think the first one we want to start with is food and drink. What can you get? Because I think it's hard to get a full calorically, significant meal for $10 or less in Chicago.
100%. Asian Cuisine Express, I was able to get damn near 12 tacos for like $20. And so
because they have $1 taco night on like Mondays,
$1.50.
right?
So you can get at least, what is that? Like almost 6 tacos before tax. And so La Chaparrita, I went there. I think I only got 2 tacos, and that might have ended up being like $9. I want to say it was like $9.80. But you can get a good taco in the city. Most people is running them up where you're looking at like $6, $7 for a single taco. But there's still a couple places out there where between $1.50 and $4, you can still get a little something.
La Chaparrita for sure. If you get $3 tacos on their menu.
Right, depending on what kind of filling you're getting.
Exactly. It depends on the meat, but you could get $3 tacos, which they have a couple on the menu that are $3.
I think some other classic cheap eats, a pizza slice usually will run you under $10, a pizza puff, 1 hot dog. But would I call any of those a meal? With no drink, no side, no nothing.
Right, no combo, no nothing. An Italian beef at like Nikki's will just be just past $10. But something that is a classic Chicago sandwich or burger, I should say, a Big Baby at Nikki's at Gage Park is $9.99.
Hey.
Another spot that has really cheap good burgers. This is nothing new. People love Red Hot Ranch. The Red Hot Ranch burger on the menu.
For some fast food where you do get the side, Super Dog. If you get the titular Super Dog, that comes with fries and it comes with the green tomato. No drink, but you get the hot dog with all the fixings and fries. So that one's not bad. That's $9.15 before taxes.
Maxwell's or like a Baba's, you can usually make out pretty good. Maxwell's, everything is still like chicken burrito is $6.50, cheeseburger $4.50, $2 to add fries, boneless pork chop for $5.50. And so after tax, you probably gonna be staring right at $10. And then Baba's, most of their sandwiches are sort of $9.99, which obviously you're gonna pay over 10, but steak on pita, chicken hero, you can get 2 burgers for like $11.99, 2 cheeseburgers there. So there are a few spots like the more corner store variety or like that little Nicky's that's attached to like the Shell gas station. You can usually end up getting like a whole burger fry, maybe a Mystic or something for a little over $10.
Ragadan up here on Broadway in Uptown. You can get like a falafel sandwich, or Taste of Lebanon over here in Andersonville. You can get some stuff. Both of those, I think, are featured. The Infatuation has a list of sort of $10 meals. We also have a list of cheap eats downtown that we can link to in the show notes. One thing I was surprised by is that Jibaritos y Más, most of their standard jibaritos are $10.60, over $10, which was disappointing because I was really hoping to put a jibarito on this list.
We know we have hit inflation when my local Michoacana sells tortas for over $10, guys.
Oof.
Besides that, though, if you want ice cream or a paleta.
Yeah, let's move into desserts, because I do think that is a place where you can get some very good stuff, right? Well made, high quality for under $10. The trick is if you want just one thing for you, your average bakery, no matter how nice it is, you can find something that is going to definitely feel like a little treat.
You go to any Mexican panaderia, like go to any Mexican bakery, the ones that are self-serving, you have like the tray and the tongs.
Yes, so if you're actually buying for multiple people, that's where you want to go. Yeah.
I love stopping in and getting some old-fashioned donuts.
You could really make out like a bandit at old-fashioned donuts for $10.
Yeah, I'm finna say, I'm probably gonna grab like 2 glazed, maybe I was gonna say maybe a hot chocolate or something.
Yeah,
can't remember if
you get a coffee, right? I feel like you get a coffee and donut, right? For under $10.
Another spot that I love to go to for dessert, especially a late night dessert, is Legend Tasty House in Chinatown on Wentworth. This is hand rolled ice cream for under $10. It's like runs from like around $6 to $8, but everything else on their menu, there's so much stuff. There's milk tea, there's boba, milkshake, smoothies, all under. Most, if not all, under $10.
Chinatown features not infrequently on this list because it is still a place where you can find some really inexpensive stuff. I think Chi Cafe still has a lot of offerings too that are under $10.
Mm-hmm. I just never spend under $10.
I think that's the other thing, though, is like when you go to a spot like that where stuff is cheap, you're like, well, let me get 4 or 5 things.
That's how I feel about Sweet Bean, because the last few times I've gone, like middle of the day, and I'll grab, like, they got a vanilla cake, and it's like a nice long loaf of cake, and it's only like $4. But then I'm like, oh, let me grab this hot dog and cheese bun, and that's only like $4-5. But by the time I get to the counter, I've gotten $20 worth of things in my hand, including an orange and peach custard bun, some yuzu glazed madeleines. Like I end up grabbing 6 or 7 $4 items. But if I only wanted like maybe a lemonade and a hot dog bun, I could probably get away with like $11-12 there.
And you're talking about Sweet Bean in South Loop.
Yeah, right off Roosevelt and Wabash.
If you go there early enough in the morning, they'll have a bunch of packaged buns that they had from the day before at a discounted rate.
Last one in food and drink I want to talk about is cocktails. Because I think finding a true cocktail for $10 or less in Chicago is just as hard, if not harder, than finding a full meal.
Yeah, I'm like the only places I could think of off the top of my head had to be like around a happy hour. Like I saw an Infatuation happy hour list recently where Bronzeville on Wednesday and Thursday got the $10 cocktails, and Salazzo over off 56 in Pulaski got $8 cocktails, $5 beers, $8 micheladas. So on the regular day, you might be hard pressed to find a $10 cocktail.
Happy hours are a good spot. I'm very particular about this because I feel like your average well drink, right, a rum and coke or whatever, is not, for the most part, you can get one for under $10 in Chicago. Like, that's fine. Even like a margarita, you can find for under $10, depending on the spot. But I'm talking about like a cocktail that is actually crafted in some way. One spot I really like over here in Uptown, Fat Cat, they do a happy hour, and on Wednesdays it's Whiskey Wednesday. On Thursday they do Thursday martinis, and these are like true cocktails. You can get an old fashioned, you can get like different types of martinis, you can get a Manhattan, right? So like I do think that's a pretty good deal, and those are $7 on those days.
What's too expensive for you for a cocktail? Because I remember the days of the $7, $8 cocktail that was as regular, and we're in the 15, 18 is normal now.
I will absolutely pay $20. I will pay $20 for a cocktail. I will. If the place is nice enough and the ingredients are fresh enough, and if it sounds interesting to me and I'm out here to have a time, I think
24 is my cap.
I was going to say, I'll probably pay 25. I'll probably pay 25.
I think $24 is probably my cap.
Yeah. Yes, Jacoby and I are bougie.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I'm past 18. I'm like kind of like, do I need this, or could I just get a high life? You know what I mean? Once I'm hitting at $18, but I agree, Simone. If the spot is really nice, if the music is good, and I'm like, I want to stay here, I definitely will splurge on a cocktail as well. But I think if those things aren't lining up, if I don't feel like the ambiance is $25 worth, I will not be paying that.
I'm going to pay it because I knew what I was getting myself into when I came here. So like a Meadow Lark, a Kamiko. Like
especially if I know
Yeah,
I'm only going to have one. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not going to have 4 $20 cocktails. That's not going to happen.
I really like Little Victories in Wicker Park. So they have this deal. They have daily victories. So that means like $10 cocktails. So Monday, they have $10 Moscow Mules. Wednesdays, they have $9 daiquiris. And Thursdays, which is my favorite day to go, they have $10 palomas.
It's also worth, and we'll link to this as well. We talked earlier this year about Lauren Keene, a Lincoln Square resident who has been collecting on a spreadsheet cocktails that are under $8 around the city on Reddit. And so if you're looking for other happy hours and the like, that's a good spot to check.
It's a new year, and that means Chicago's theater scene has got shows you need to put on your calendar, starting with Eureka Day, the winner of the 2025 Tony Award for Best Revival of a Play, and it's making its Chicago premiere. So what happens is this school in California, Eureka Day School, is hit with a mumps outbreak. Already tragic, right? Now, this sends parents and the entire school board into chaos as they clash over vaccines, personal freedoms, and of course, viral misinformation. This hit satire is funny, it's intelligent, and it captures the absurdity of modern discourse on parenting and public health perfectly. Presented by Timeline Theater Company, Eureka Day is at the Broadway Playhouse running from January 13th through February 22nd. So go on and get your tickets now because they start at just $25 at BroadwayInChicago.com. It's a new year and we've all got goals and things we want to accomplish. And if getting new windows is on your list, then Window Nation has the perfect sale for you. Right now, when you buy 4 windows, you can get 4 free. So maybe it's a good time to do your whole house. You get custom built, high quality windows and maybe save on those future heating bills. Plus, you can get them with 0 down, 0 monthly payments, and 0 interest for 2 years. Installation crews finish the job in a day or less. So don't just tough it out for the rest of the winter. Schedule a fast, free estimate now at windownation.com. So while we're talking about all the best things you can get for $10 in Chicago, I want to remind you that one of those things is CityCast Chicago membership, because for $10 a month, you can become a neighbor. That's what we call our members. And you can help support this podcast and this newsletter to make sure we can stay here for another, if not 4 years, I'll take, 4 weeks, 4 months.
We have our neighborhood shout outs. That's where we members send in local businesses and organizations that we then shout out on the podcast and newsletter, right? You are sort of quite literally putting everybody on to those things that you love and that you love about Chicago. You're spreading the word. And I would argue that even ad-free listening makes you a better neighbor, because look, you get to get that time back. If you don't have to listen to the ads, that's time back that you can use for other things.
If you're one of those people who are like, nah, this helps me get out, stay tapped in, constantly meeting new people, doing cool things, then, I'd argue $10 a month is a little bit of a bargain now, a little bit of a bargain.
You could be cool and support local journalism and keep us going and contribute to this project that we've been working on and we want to keep working on.
Michelle, where can they do it?
Membership.citycast.fm.
All right, let's get back into trying to enjoy this city for $10 or less. Obviously, it has been a bit of a challenge. Even some of our food items was like, $11, $12, maybe like $14 after tax. That's close to $10. Round down. But what about some activities in and around the city?
You know what I think is interesting, Jacoby, is I think it's actually easier to find free activities than it is to find cheap activities. Because there's like stuff that we talk about a lot on the show that I think a lot of people know, right? Taking advantage of free museum days, the conservatories, Garfield Park and Lincoln Park, the Lincoln Park Zoo, all the outdoor stuff, various nature sanctuaries, things like that. Taking advantage of the Chicago Public Library. They do a ton of events. They also have digital passes, free museums like the National Museum of Mexican Art. But it's actually much harder to sort of find like a one-off thing or sort of stuff that is that is like consistent. Yeah, that is really consistent.
I think one thing even as you were talking, one thing we should remind ourselves is while a lot of these things are free, they will also take your donation. Like the conservatory is free, but like it, technically that could be a $10, $5 activity if you want it to be. And so next time you go to the National Museum of Mexican Art or DuSable or something on a free day, or, in the case of some of these museums that are free all the time, don't ignore the part where they say, hey, donate suggested donation. If you got it, we'll take it.
Same thing with neighborhood festivals, Jacoby. You gotta,
I donated this year.
I gave more money this summer.
I donated this year. I did.
I gave more money this summer.
Not gonna lie though, I was a little discriminatory. I did not give any money to any North Side festivals. All my money went to local South Side festivals. Probably every single South Side street festival I went to. So that was my goal, and I accomplished.
Gave more money to 79th
good.
Street Renaissance Festival. I gave money for the Puerto Rican Pride Parade. Yeah, I'm with you, Michelle. That episode got me at the beginning of the summer. And so just because something said free on it, I tried to make sure if there was opportunity for me to give a little money, I gave a little bit.
Referencing there to the fact that a lot of festival organizers came out at the top of the summer and just talked about sort of how much more expensive it has become to put these festivals on. It's harder to book, really good talent. It's harder, it's just really, really tough. And, a lot of organizers sort of sounding the alarm of decreasing donations at the gate. Before we get into actual cheap stuff, one free thing that I feel like not enough people know about, and this is especially great if you have people coming into town, is Chicago Greeter Tours. So this is done by Choose Chicago. And basically you can reserve a tour for free with one of their local greeters. This is just a person who is really into Chicago stuff. They really know the neighborhood really well. They know the buildings, etc. And you can reserve it for up to 6 people. And then you don't have to do it just downtown. You could do it. We talked to a Chinatown greeter a couple years ago, and I think kind of a slept on thing.
Usually when you go to a bar, you expect to go in for free. But when bars have live music, it's always really special to pay a really cheap cover so that you can, get a drink and watch something cool. I know that at Lemon, they usually have live music, a lot of jazz there. And typically the tickets run from $5 to $10, which is so cheap, to watch a jazz group. And I think it's definitely worth it to go to one of those shows.
Yeah, I mean, again, you're going to make up for that in cocktails because those cocktails are not cheap. A couple other ones I like where you can usually find a cheap cover. Green Mill, also here in Uptown on Broadway, of course, for live jazz. Some of them are a little more expensive. It's like a name, but a lot of those daily shows, nightly shows are about $10. And then The Drifter, which is the speakeasy that's inside of the Green Door, has an $8 cover. Again, those cocktails are pretty pricey, but there's like when I went, there's like a live burlesque show that happens like every 30 minutes or whatever. And so, I think for sort of like drinking a show, like I think because there are a lot of I think cover charges are out of control, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
If there's no live music, if there's no extra like reason why I should pay, if I'm already gonna go in there, like you said, to buy drinks, if you don't give me any other reason to go in there, I'll just go to the next bar.
Even DJs, like I charging $20 cover for a DJ.
Ooh, I might disagree.
Yeah,
No.
I won't do it.
It's gotta be
never
multiple.
one DJ. It's never one DJ. We're so lucky to be in a city like Chicago where there's so much like music curation events where, DJ groups or like DJ collections will have 2 to 3, 4 DJs. And, if you like them and they're all going to be the same kind of vibe, same kind of energy, and so rare to find for something for under $10 nowadays.
I would much prefer to see, I would pay a lot more for live music, for performed music. That's just me. That's just my disposition, especially if I know I have a seat.
I was going to say the standard like open mic price for like a Grown Folk Stories, a Luya Poetry, a Respect the Mic is $10. And those are all like
there's a lot of free open mics too.
Yeah, a lot of free ones, but the ones that
like for
do
comedy
charge,
or music too,
they usually don't go over like $10. Like I could think of some free ones like Suge and Jam, but if you wanted to bring a drink, like if you want to bring in alcohol, you'd have to pay a cover.
Oh, interesting.
But then a lot of the other ones, like a Grown Folk Stories, which is this Thursday, that's held at the Promontory. So you pay $10, and then again, the cocktails will sort of run you from there.
The trade-off, though, of course, with an open mic is you really don't know what you're going to get. And again, sometimes you go to an open mic and like someone's amazing and you're just like, oh man, I'm really glad I saw this. And sometimes, you're sitting there. I think another spot that gets slept on as like an activity, a thing to do, Douglas Park mini golf. The mini golf course, it's 18 holes, first of all. It's big. And it's only $5 per person per game. And that is open Thursday through Saturday. Yeah, it's very inexpensive. And I just feel like there are so many like hip, like putt bar type things opening up, like over here on the north side and like River North and the like. And I just feel like I always want to show some love to, because this was a mini golf course. I think it was designed by students. It's bird themed, public park. We love it. Some other performances are another good way to kind of get some cheap tickets or free tickets to performances is a lot of comedy venues in Chicago will have free passes for stuff. Like if you go to see a show, they will often try to entice you back to more shows by giving you some kind of free pass, or if you get on a mailing list or something like that. Zanies does this, Lincoln Lodge does this, Laugh Factory does a version of this. Again, some of those spots have drink minimums, so they're gonna make it back there. I think Laugh Factory in particular, I know for sure does. But Lincoln Lodge does not have a drink minimum, so if you end up getting one of their passes, you don't have to necessarily pay for the drinks there. But that's sort of another. I used to do that when I was going to comedy shows like really regularly. I took advantage of that a lot.
All right, cool. So we got some food in us. We got some ish to do. What about trinkets? What about gifts? What about you trying to go shopping? Take some home with you. Where are you going where you could spend roughly $10?
My favorite spot to go for gifts, trinkets, things that I know are going to be cute and useful and my friends are going to love them, but I'm not breaking the bank, is definitely the shops in Chinatown. In Chinatown Square, particularly, there's AJ Hardwares. And so if you're ever at Chinatown Square, it's kind of very close to the middle section. And they have everything from stuffed animals to little statues to trinkets. One of my favorite things that I get at Chinatown is fans, like just like a hand fans.
Like a hand fan, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so many things you could do. I get a lot of stuffed animals, a lot of keychains from these places, cute dishware, cups. There's a lot of houseware stuff in there that you can purchase. And so I love going to places. Other spots down Wentworth, which I think down Wentworth has a lot of special little shops too. EK Souvenirs and Grace Grocery. These are also places you can find. This is also a good place that if you have friends in town and they want to get like silly Chicago stuff, like trinkets, keychains, Swiss Army knife, like whatever you want to get with Chicago on it. This is such a good place to go because, you know, you're not getting those downtown tourist store prices.
I got a Lafufu from EK Souvenirs last time I was in Chinatown, which had to be like 2 weeks ago because I also stopped by Windtime Jewelry where since I first learned about this place, I've stopped in every time I go just to like look through the rings and the bracelets. It's all like, I think each piece is like $10 essentially.
Yeah. Well, they have some kind of deal that's like 3 for $10.
Yeah, they'll extend it for you right in front of you and add a couple clasps on it. And so if I'm ever looking for something of a particular color, like just something baby blue or something, I'll go in there and look around.
I think these days, one of the things we've kind of had on this list is like, oh, you might be able to find some of these for $10 or like secondhand books.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's not always the case. Like, I think there's a lot of just because books are really expensive.
I would say the book sections of thrift stores are always the best spot.
Yes. As opposed to going to a secondhand book shop. Yeah.
Exactly. And of course, always, I would love if you gave your money to secondhand bookstores because they are so necessary. Not everyone can buy new books. I don't buy new books. Rarely do I ever buy new books. And so supporting secondhand shops is great. But if you ever just need, you know, a classic.
Or like a coffee table book. You can find some like cool coffee table books in thrift stores. Yeah.
Another used thing I like in terms of digging through the crates is I like going to Hyde Park Records and seeing, usually it's in a crate outside of the store. They'll have some like really discounted records, but even inside they got like old magazines. They have like an old comic book crate. And like right when you walk into Hyde Park Records, it kind of feels like I'm in like one of my auntie's sub basement because there's like a lot of like metal art, like old black statues, like a bunch of shit that my granny would have like sitting on like a little trinket counter. Honestly, I think between those 3 categories, things to do, things to buy, things to eat, I think we got a fair amount of free things to do in the city and a good amount of pretty close to $10 up or down a few bucks here and there, right?
Taxes not included, right?
Here's my last question is, how do you feel the stuff we've talked about today compares to a City Cash Chicago membership?
I think they all on the same level. There's a few things that's under it. Like, you know, I think you can forego maybe I don't know. Now I was finna say 2 pizza puffs, but I was like, actually, that sounds damn good right now. But I do think we are offering more value than your standard like iced coffee and 2 pizza puffs with a dry fry because mouth sauce is extra. I think we are far more valuable than that, on par closer with like a day at the library or like a day at the conservatory. But even then, you know, we had 1,100 episodes and like a ton of lists that we update every single day. I don't know if the Garfield Park Conservatory is hidden quite like that. It's fire. It's fire. But I don't know if it's offering.
We love the plants. We love it.
I don't know if the cactus room is putting it down quite like that.
But you could do both. It is free, right? Like you could listen to a City Cash Chicago episode while you peruse the conservatory.
Mm-hmm. Yes. That's the other, right? You could do both. You could go out. You could be on the train, you know, listening going to the free thing that we told you about, listening to an episode where we explain how the city budget works. Like, you get all of it at once. It's so you could be the most Chicago if you became a member at membership.citycast.fm.
I want to give a huge thank you to executive producer Simone Alicea.
Hey, thanks, Jacoby.
And producer Michelle Navarro.
Thanks, Jacoby.
Before we get out of here, you know I got some good news for you. Tonight, 2 amazing events are going down in the city, including a conversation with Julian Brave Noiscat, the author of We Survived the Night and Indigenous Reckoning. It's happening at the Center for Native Futures at 56 West Adams. That's going down at 6 o'clock. I'll drop a link for you in the show notes. Also happening at the Chicago Cultural Center is a celebration of Chicago's new poet laureate, Maida Alexandra Del Valle. I'll drop a link for that as well. As always, we appreciate you for listening, reading, bookmarking our website, chicago.citycast.fm, where you can also find an events calendar packed with free things you can do in and around this city this week and next. We're going to be back bright and early tomorrow. We'll talk to you then. Peace.